this is Atlas's 8th session, and we're going to work on touching a target. So I'm just going to work on touching him first. He was good. I gave him a little bit of green when I walked in here, so I'll just allow him to eat the rest of that. I'm just kind of making friends at first and just touching him, making sure he's okay with me, and then we'll start the session. So I'm just going to present the target to him. He's going to be interested. He'll touch it, and I'll click as soon as he touches his nose to it. So it helps to get this right in the beginning because they're going to be interested in it in the beginning. So as soon as I raise up the whip, he's interested and he's like, oh, I want to see what that is. And their horses are just curious. So he'll touch it, and I want to capture that moment and click when he touches it and then feed him for it. So again, click him there, and I'll feed him for it again. So I want to get the behavior first nice and repetitive, he continues to do it, and then I'll start moving the target a little bit more. I like to use this whip because it has a bigger end on it. I'll ask him again, and he touches it, click him, and then I'll give him a treat. So I like this whip because it has that end on it that they can distinguish versus a dressage whip or a lunge whip. I have this short one to start out with, but I use the longer ones too, especially for riding and stuff. They generalize pretty well. I'm asking again, touched it, I click him, and then I'll go ahead and feed him. They generalize pretty well, so they can really understand to touch the end of it. So I don't use one of those big targets with the big plastic ends and stuff. They're just kind of ugly, honestly. The whip works just fine. I don't use it for whipping, I use it for targeting. So they seem to figure it out just as well, and I can carry it, and I don't look as ridiculous because I just have the whip. Because a lot of people have the whip when they ride. So I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of desensitizing here and just rub on him, make sure he's okay with me. Just make sure he's doing okay and how he's feeling about me being there. So when I was rubbing him on the chest there, I clicked him for kind of working my way down there, and I'll feed him for that. So I'm just kind of working on a couple things at once here. So I want him to learn about the target and touching the target, because that'll add to other things like leading, desensitizing, trailer loading, all kinds of stuff. But I also want him to be okay with my touch too. Click him there and feed him. Because I want to make sure that he's okay with me, because they're still in that beginning stage where they're pretty wary of people. So I want to throw in some desensitizing there. And he was cool with me touching his head, and then I work my way down, and then I'll click the further down I go. So the new area I'll click for and reward for. Touch him again, ask for another target, click him there. Just as soon as his nose touches that, I click. So you want to do this on both sides. Just with the Mustangs especially, you don't want to get stuck on one side because they will too mentally, and then you'll have to kind of start over and do some extra work on the other side. Click him there as soon as he touches it. He lifts his leg because he's just anticipating the food, and that's gone away now. He's just anticipating a bit. I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just going to come pet him on this side. Again, to do a little bit of desensitizing. And so now he used to not lower his head to get the flies off his leg, and now he's trusting me a bit more, and that he'll lower his head while I'm there. So that's pretty cool. Before he would just stomp his feet and then walk away. So there I petted him further down on his shoulder, and then I'll click him for that. But yeah, that's something interesting to know, especially with these guys. He wouldn't let me do that for a while, so he's starting to do that. Ask him again, click him there, and feed him, and that's pretty much it. Nice short sessions, and really gets him wanting to touch the target.